Mark is sick or if he's just, what he's got going on. Yeah. Somebody did the other day.
Acknowledge the room. There he is.
I think you're good. Okay, I've got 4 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Bonnie is not here, so I guess I'll just go ahead and do a roll call. JJ Reinhardt.
Here.
Mark Dennis. Nate Tormelon here. Bonnie Good. Tim Harden.
Here.
Okay, did everybody have a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do we have any public hearings? Okay. Old business, Dan?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
Update here. Oh, maybe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So before I get started, I think it's worth acknowledging today is a special day. It is our governor's birthday. It is Peyton Manning's birthday. And it is also Bill Hyday's birthday. Not sure how those three things are connected, but other than that, but that's true. So thanks for the opportunity to be here today. It's been a few months since I've been before you. We talked about the Spark Shop co-working studio project. I just wanted to come and give you an update on how that's moving along. I brought a couple of renderings that we've had done here, both exterior and interior, that show a concept of where we're hoping to go with this project. And everything still seems to be pointing in the direction of those renderings at this point. We've been through a few iterations of the space plan, and it looks like everything we want to do in that space is going to be, as we say, doable, right? So just a project overview. It's a total of a $1.2 million investment in that George's property there at 2nd and Broadway. We have selected our team that's going to do this. First of all, Audra Blaisdell is our owner's representative. She's with Waypoint Strategies out of Indianapolis. She has deep experience as an owner's representative and at one time served as the vice president of operations for the Indianapolis Children's Museum. So she has experience there as an owner on that side of projects and also understands what it takes to efficiently and effectively run a public building, right? A children's museum is a lot of moving parts. So to her, our project seems pretty easy and straightforward, but she's been great in leading this project. We felt like it was important to bring on an owner's rep for this project because, as you know, we are using almost exclusively public dollars in this project. And so we felt like that was the responsible thing for us to do to ensure that there was really good leadership in the project, that there was fiscal responsibility, and Dan doesn't have the technical expertise to lead a project like this. So she's been fantastic. And then a couple weeks ago, we went through our RFP process via public notice that we're required to do, and we selected our design build team led by Gerker Construction here in Seymour. Our contractor under them is Hyday Construction, and then Design Point is our architect. They're the ones that provided our initial renderings, and they've also leveraged locally here in Jackson County NITEC technology to do all the tech work in the building. So I feel like we have a fantastic team on the field right now that's going to do a great job to make sure that we deliver this project as promised. You see on the right-hand side there a preliminary schedule. We're hammering out the final pieces of design right now. Like I said, we've played with the floor plan a little bit. Now that we have that settled, we're starting to get some elevation prints that show different angles and approaches to the project from a design standpoint. We will then begin review and permitting with the state to ensure that we're doing everything per regulation. And we expect to begin construction bidding in the June-July time with construction going July to December. So again, we're landing that kind of loose target that we set out there previously of having this project completed here in 2025. So you see the next page there, activities to date. I've talked about most of that. Some of the highlights that have happened there. One thing I do want to point out is not only are we fortunate to have our design build team led by a local contractor, we're going to have an event here in early April where we invite other service providers to come have an open house, kind of understand the project, and have the ability to interact with our design build leaders. And it's just a way to, again, extend that welcome arm to try to engage more local service providers in the project. So we're super excited about that as well. And then on the last page there, you see the final version, or what we believe is the final version of the floor plan for the space. It's just some edits, I think, from the last time you guys had visibility of this, but I wanted to give you the latest version. So that's my update. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. I just wanted to come back and circle back and give you an update on where we're at currently. So if there's any questions, happy to field those.
Any questions for Dan?
Okay,
Dan?
you're very welcome. My second purpose is referring back to the letter of commitment that this commission provided for us on January 14th. That was the ask for $240,000 for this project. And on that letter, we put that the date of availability for those funds would be March of 2025. So I am today, along with the update on progress of the project, asking that you go ahead and initiate funding per the letter of intent that was issued in January.
Okay. Was that letter, because I know there's letters of intent on the other two. Was there a letter of intent on this or no?
It was discussed and approved previous.
I know it was discussed, so. Right, I mean, but do we have a letter prepared, ready to sign or not?
It's already been signed.
Okay, so there's nothing you need from us then at this point.
Just a check.
Okay.
Plainly spoken.
Okay.
They'll need to invoice for that, right?
Yeah, we'll need because it's not on the current claims, correct?
No.
So, we would need the invoice for something from Ready, I guess, showing it was approved or whatever. I don't know, you would know that better than I would, and then we could get it on the April claims docket.
The Ready side, I believe, has been approved already as well. You would need an invoice from Spark or from the chamber, whoever is the official.
Would be the Chamber Foundation.
So yeah, you need an invoice from the Chamber Foundation
Okay.
to put it on the claims for next month.
Okay, is that
Okay.
sufficient?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I just didn't want to initiate that without coming
Yep.
back and
No, I understand, yep.
And if it's okay with you, we will come back, periodically. Still, want to keep you involved in the project, so we'll come periodically, maybe every 4 or 5 months or so here through the project, and just keep you updated and give you the opportunity to ask any questions that you might have too.
All right.
So,
Sounds good.
all right, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is the EPS grant update.
I don't see Terry here,
Yeah.
so.
Do you have any information on that, or is that not urgent?
It's back on again after they unfroze funding, after they froze funding, but beyond
Okay.
that, we're getting close. We have until October of 25 to get it spent down, and we're getting closer.
Okay. Is there anything we need to do today on that? Okay.
It was just an update for you guys.
Okay. All right. New business, Bill Hyday.
Good afternoon. I've grabbed the absolute wrong.
You like to borrow
Starting
this?
off on a great. What was the first folder I handed out?
This-
No, it's gonna look just like this.
Hey, Bill.
In these folders, I had letters of support, and I think I've actually put my notes. There it was. So now that you can see how professional I am, let's try this again. Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak before the commission. My name is Bill Hyde, and in the event that we haven't formally met prior to now, I'm hoping that you're at least familiar with the redevelopment work that my companies have been doing in downtown Seymour. In the last 5 years or so, we've had a hand in the development and/or restoration of 10 different downtown properties, either as the owner or the general contractor tasked with the construction piece of the project. We were recently named to the design build team, as Dan referenced, for the Spark Shop project that will redevelop the former George's Tire on East 2nd Street. All told, projects that my companies have been associated with have contributed tens of thousands of man hours and millions upon millions of dollars invested into the betterment of our downtown. To say that we're vested in the redevelopment of Seymour would be appropriate, if not an understatement. The most notable project, however, that we've completed recently is the Coppertop event venue, and I'm here presenting on behalf of its ownership entity, 100 SLA LLC, of which I'm the managing member. When we purchased the property at 100 St. Louis Avenue in the fall of 2019, the building was a quarter occupied, rundown, and in major need of both maintenance and aesthetic facelift. The roof and windows leaked, the mechanicals had all but failed, and the facade was literally rotting off the building. It was undoubtedly on its way to becoming yet another dilapidated building in the downtown district. On a corner lot, next to one of the most popular restaurants in town, and in full view of Tipton Street and the 20,000 plus vehicles that traverse it every day. While we had initially planned on renovating the building and filling it with additional commercial tenants, COVID happened and the office space model all of a sudden didn't really work. Fast forward to late 2021, and our anchor tenant, the Tribune, with its staff, shrinking, informed us that they no longer needed such a large space and they would be moving. We had to figure out what to do with the building, so we enlisted the help of Seymour Main Street and Jackson County Visitor Center. They had and continue to have the pulse of what was needed in downtown Seymour. Through conversations with leadership of both entities, along with feedback of other downtown stakeholders, the idea of redeveloping the building into a large-scale downtown event venue kept coming up. The wheels of progress in the downtown district were already starting to turn, and we saw an opportunity to double down on that forward motion by building a space that could be both a regional attractor to downtown with its programming and events, but also indirectly provide a helping hand in driving dollars to other downtown retail shops, restaurants, hotels, Airbnbs, et cetera, et cetera. A rising tide lifts all ships, correct? With that, planning for the Coppertop event venue commenced. Designing the space, securing financing, and then the actual construction took us through the early summer of 2024. Renovation took a little more than a year, and during that time, we completely transformed the building, updating nearly every square foot along the way, as you see in the pictures provided in the folder. Since then, the Coppertop has hosted a variety of events, both large and small. We've hosted baby and bridal showers, graduation and retirement open houses, corporate luncheons, dinners, award banquets, weddings, receptions, church groups, community events, etc. Schneck and Roseacres, the two that pop to mind that have booked and continue to book multiple events at our venue. JCIDC held their 40th anniversary celebration upstairs, and we've had both the president of the Indiana Chamber of Commerce and the sitting governor of the state of Indiana through our doors. Crossroads Acoustic Fest was one of the first big events that we hosted. Nationally touring acts were on stage at our venue playing to standing room only crowds, and it was a hit. So much so that we hosted another Crossroads act a couple months ago, and Acoustic Fest will actually be back in the venue next month. I also want to point out that we're absolutely committing to serving the Seymour community. Seymour High School will be holding their prom at our venue next month, and both sides are beyond excited, and we intend on this becoming an annual tradition. Seymour Main Street has also been given the green light and told that they should just assume that we're hosting their events from here on out. Our venue isn't just for throwing parties, though, as we've just begun capturing the big trend with what are called pop-up markets. Last month, several local and regional retailers partnered up and threw an insanely successful one-night pop-up market called the Sweetheart Social, where they sold over 550 tickets. This same group, along with a couple other similar outfits, have already announced plans to hold larger scale events later this year. And we couldn't be more excited as these events are bringing dollars to downtown Seymour. While it's impossible to keep an exact record of every person who's been to our venue, we do know that we've had guests from not just southern Indiana, but the majority of the states in our region and as far away as California. All of these out-of-town guests bringing outside money into Seymour, eating at our restaurants, shopping at our retailers, buying fuel from our gas stations, and staying the night in our hotels and Airbnbs. The part that excites me the most, though, is that we've only just begun to scratch the surface of what is sure to become one of the biggest and most consistent sources of positive economic impact for downtown Seymour. Aside of the $20,000 grant that we were graciously awarded by Seymour Main Street, the remainder of the more than $2 million of capital used on this project has come by way of private investment and traditional lending vehicles. I've asked several people that I would consider to be in the know, and thus far nobody can name me a larger private investment in the redevelopment of downtown Seymour. We took a building that we purchased for $250,000 in October of 2019 and turned it into a downtown landmark that appraised for $2.62 million less than 5 years later in September of 24. It's an increased valuation of 948% or $2.37 million, and it equates to a 10x factor on the tax implications. We know that we have a great facility, and believe me when I tell you, we get tons of positive feedback. And while it's nice to hear how pretty our venue is and how we did such a great job on the construction piece, I can't help but to immediately turn my focus on how we can do more and how we can do it at a quicker pace than what we're doing it. From a business perspective, the real beauty isn't in the building itself, rather what happens inside of it and the frequency at which it happens. How quickly can we get this venue to host events every single day? How quickly can we reach peak positive impact for our fellow business owners in Seymour? Our bookings and revenues are both in an upward trajectory. We're already scheduling dates into 2026, but we have plenty of open dates still available between now and then. We can fill these, but it'll absolutely take better marketing than we were able to do at this time. We need a stabilization period so that we can commit the necessary funding to targeted digital marketing campaigns. With that, I'm here to ask the RDC to partner with us and invest in our quest to attract the intake of regional dollars into our local economy. We're respectfully asking for the RDC to finance our project for the full appraised valuation with a 0% loan on a traditional commercial mortgage amortization schedule. We would also request a deferment on the first payment for as long as the commission feels comfortable granting us so that we can use that time to stabilize and get ahead of the curve. Again, I sincerely appreciate both the opportunity to present our project to you this afternoon and also your service to the Seymour community. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Is there anything in the packet that details the request? Because, I caught some of it, but I'm not sure I caught all of it.
I apologize. 6 cups of coffee today or something.
But
I can get that to you. I can have that to you tomorrow, in fact.
can you state the details?
Essentially, the financing package that we're currently under, as you know, it's terms are tough these days.
Yeah.
And so what we would be asking for is basically for the RDC to finance us, basically give us a loan, a mortgage for the full appraised value, which is $2.62 million. And the part B of that would be a slight deferment for as long as the RDC would feel comfortable doing, be it 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, whatever, just to let us stabilize so that we can commit funds to the marketing to jump this thing to where it needs to be to get ahead of the curve. That would be the ask.
Okay.
Not a give out per se.
I understand.
But a loan.
Chris, I don't know the ins and the outs of is that a permissible use of?
I would need to look into that. I know if funds are
we
being
just have
issued to
rules, and I don't.
nonprofits.
Sometimes they get over our head, and we gotta.
Right.
Sometimes we've got to go to Barnes and Thornburg or whatever to find out.
I'll run it by Rich at
Okay.
Barnes and Thornburg. I know he and I have gone over things like this with nonprofits, and I know we did the Eclipse loan with Guardian Bikes a few years back.
Right.
But those terms are slightly different.
And I think that Eclipse loan is something though that's in the statute, right?
Yes, yeah, that's different. I can get with Rich and figure out.
If you could get us a document that
Absolutely
shows exactly, the terms that you're asking for. I don't think it's something that we could approved today, and I mean, we did, the other thing that we did, I mean, we kind of asked or started to, if we're not gonna approve stuff on first reading regardless, you know, I mean, like, we wanna be able to review, have questions, come back at, you know, at a later date. So if you could get us something that was in writing on the exact request as far as the numbers on,
Would you prefer that email or physical copies?
no, email's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
We also have a couple people not here today. I'd like them to get that information
Yeah.
in case they have questions. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, and if you, honestly, if you don't mind, I mean, that, your notes that you, I mean, if you can
Ran
include
through.
that so that they can get, just so they can get the full picture of what you presented here, cause I mean, I guess they could look at the video, that's, I mean.
I'd be glad to
So,
provide that.
Yeah, and then we can, you know, see what questions come up and have Chris, you know, I'm not 100% on the, if it's something we could fund even if we wanted to, cause sometimes we run into that, but, so.
Chris, while you're looking into that, I know you mentioned the difference between the nonprofit versus profit. I don't know what regulations there are on us doing a 0% loan under these circumstances. So while you're reviewing that, if you check that, make sure there's no legal issues with considering that.
I will do that.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for Bill before? You have anything else for us?
No, but I've got homework.
Okay, all righty.
Okay, thank you very
All right,
much.
no problem.
Thank you. It was a good
I just
presentation.
kinda wonder if something like that wouldn't have to run through with the authority, you know? Kinda like they
Okay,
did on
Reedy
the,
Financial Report.
Learning Center.
Alrighty, it's good to see you all again, and welcome to another round of exciting reporting requirements. So today we're going to knock out your April report for you, and you should have that in front of you, and I'll have you start on page 3, if you will. Looking at that top green bar there, it'll show what's all a part of this April report. This is going to be presented to you guys today. We'll make sure it gets to council, and we'll make sure it's all submitted to Gateway, and then that is all that needs to be done for this. You guys can keep this page handy with you throughout the years. We knock out all the other ones. You guys can kind of keep track as we go. Besides your April report this year, we'll also do your TIF impact and then your pass-through, neutralization, and your spending plan. And then just to get started on this, take you guys over through pages 4 and 5 will just be your overview. That's part of the requirement to submit on to Gateway. Page 6 will just be a zoomed in version of what the main TIF fund did last year on a monthly basis. And then pages 7 through 14, I believe, will show all the activities of 2024 for each of the RDC's funds. So that'll have everything on there, revenues, expenditures, ending balances. And you'll have your debt overview as well. And you'll notice, of course, this is very similar to your regular monthly update, just reformatted for what the April report requires. So you guys can take a look through all of those fund balances from pages 7 to 14. And then beyond that, you'll have your debt overview showing how much was outstanding to begin 2024, how much was expected to be paid, how much you guys actually paid, all of those being spot on. Then bottom half, of course, you'll have your bond funds with their balances and activities throughout the year. Then the rest of the report is going to be 16 to 21, each of the allocation areas and all of their parcels with their gross, net, base, and incremental AV amounts for pay year 24. If you guys have any questions on the April report, I'm happy to field those, but that is all that the April report is, just showing all of last year's information.
Does anybody have any questions? So do we need to do an approval of that, or is just you presenting it?
You can.
What?
You can just say,
Okay.
you can just approve the April reporting requirements.
Can we get a motion to approve the April reporting requirements?
I'll make a motion.
JJ, can you second? Can you second the,
Yeah, second.
okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. April reporting requirements are approved.
Perfect. And like I said, we'll make sure that gets provided to council and submitted to Gateway before April 15th.
Okay.
Other than that, I just have a quick financial update for you guys, also in front of you. If you guys, hope you have a chance to look at that. Current balance of the main TIF fund being $2.911 million, roughly. Right-of-way acquisitions and CCMG and O'Brien Street and your claims. If you guys have any questions on anything you see on the monthly financial update, let me know.
Any questions on the regular monthly? Okay, thanks, Cole.
Thank you.
All right, did everybody have a chance to review the claims? Can I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, any miscellaneous business?
I'll throw some in for you.
Okay.
So Senate Bill 1 is your state tax bill, if you will. So be ready, because if they get some of the House bill stuff written into that, it'll probably affect your budget tremendously. So you might talk to your legislators up at the State House to help avoid that, because the personal property stuff that was taken out from the House bill, last report I had is trying to be put back in during the next round of session here. So just a heads up, may be a good idea to keep an eye on that for you. And then the other thing I've got for you is Terry made it. He was running a little late, so if you'd like to hear his full version of my short version, I'll be glad to
Sure,
invite him
absolutely, yeah.
up. So
Come on up, Terry.
there you go. Thanks. Let's see how close I got on there.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, sorry, I actually wasn't late. I had 4:30, so I've just been driving around town for the last hour. Yeah, on the US EPA Brownfield Assessment Grant that we, BCA Environmental, applied for you and got for you in 2022, you're about spent down on it. The grant period ends September of this year. We've done work on several sites around town and some out of town, because you guys did have, there was a stipulation back then where the city could be the applicant, but you could apply the grant anywhere in Jackson County. So we've done a lot of work on Kiefer Paper Mill Company, Brownstown. Found some stuff there that we're hoping to find some insurance policies from the past that might take care of some of the cleanup that should be done there. We've worked on a couple of dry cleaners in downtown, the old George's Tire Shop, Seymour Alignment, Excel Tool and Die, and a couple of others. We've probably got enough left in the grant to do another phase 1 or maybe a phase 1 asbestos or lead paint inspection, or maybe a couple of phase 2s, or excuse me, maybe a couple of phase 1s. We do have some funds in the grant for travel. That's for the EPA national conference, which is in Chicago this summer, August. I'm not sure. I talked to the mayor about it briefly, if anyone's planning to attend, but EPA loves to have community leaders come in and go and support them in their conference. So I don't really have much else to tell you, except you've done a really good job of getting the funds and the grant spent down. A lot of communities get the grant and then they kind of put it on a shelf, forget it's there, and don't use all the funds, but you've done a good job with that. There's a little bit left, not much, for phase 1s, and I'm here for questions if you have any. I know we're going to be talking with, because we'd like to keep, if possible, the county or the funds available throughout the county. So we'll be talking with either Jim with economic development, or maybe the county folks, or maybe the city again, on whether or not you want us to work with you to get another grant or apply for another grant this fall. So any thoughts or questions, I'm happy to answer.
Just to ask if you would come back before the time runs out to give us an update in case there are funds left by that point that we need to try to get more aggressive with. But it sounds like you're working with people and getting stuff taken care of. So.
Yeah, we've had a couple of good lists come through from the mayor's office and so forth, and the chamber, one of your local realtors, Millman, was very helpful on a couple. And the grant does, run out September 30, so I'll be back, June, July maybe. That's okay. And you guys meet at 4 o'clock,
Yep, 4 o'clock's our normal, yeah.
not 4:30.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's good to be here again.
Matt,
Anything
is
else?
there any, do you think we're, I don't wanna say tapped out, but do you think most of the worst sites inside of city limits have been identified at this point, or?
I would say yes, we've probably identified the worst of the bunch. Again, as Terry referenced, we did make it open for the entire county. We didn't gain a ton of traction on various places, but it was available for them. We did have a little bit of luck on reviewing a few sites, so. All in all, I think it was a good program. Looking at the next round, whether or not to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot spent on the Kiefer Paper Mill project in Brownstown. And we've actually been kind of holding off looking for new sites. As that kind of adds up, we're done with assessment now. We're just trying to go back and do archaeology on insurance coverage that could pay for cleanup. Because the grant was not for cleanup, it was just for assessment. So you get the grant for the assessment, you find out sites that you need to clean up or do something with. And then Indiana is a pretty good background of insurance coverage for environmental contamination. So that's what we're hoping to get over there. That makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you.
I will say, from the owner's perspective, their team was fantastic to work with on the George's property there, and I really appreciate the opportunity to access those funds to have those phase one studies done. So we appreciate it.
Okay. Any other miscellaneous business? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Second. All right. Meeting adjourned.
All right.